Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh bidvaro. The reading of the prophets for Vayera. Vayera is the section of the Torah that speaks about the birth of Isaac. Yitzchak, the great preoccupation, the worry of our father Abraham. He wanted to have a son who should continue with his legacy. He didn't want that his servant Eliezer should be the one to inherit him. He wanted his own flesh and blood, whom he could mold and teach from A to Z, from birth on, which is the path he should follow. Because Abraham was the great leader of a new idea in this world, the idea of monotheism, of one God. And he needed somebody to continue on for the next generation. What is the reading of the prophets for that? It comes from Melachim, from the book of Kings, and it says the following. There was a very famous prophet, we all know, Eliyahu Hanavi. He is the one that will tell us that the Messiah is coming. He's a very enigmatic figure. The books of the Bible don't say really how he died. He sort of went up to heaven. Something mysterious about him. He had a pupil by the name of Elisha. And the Bible tells the following, that Elisha comes to a home where there is the widow of one of the prophets. And she says to him, I am poor, I have nothing. And unfortunately, my husband borrowed money. And the creditors are coming and I don't have what to pay. And if I don't have what to pay, they will take my children as slaves. Because in some way they have to be compensated. At least this is the way it was many, many years ago. So Elisha says to her, what do you have at home? What do you have at home? She says, I only have one jar with oil. That's all I possess. So Elisha says to her, you know what? Go to your neighbors and borrow empty jars. Bring them to your home. And when nobody is around, take the jar that you have and try to fill up with oil all the other jars. She actually does that, and the oil never terminates. She is able to fill all the other jars. She sells the oil afterwards in the market, gets enough money to pay the creditors. That is the story that I want to make reference. Of course, it has to do also with children being taken into slavery, the importance of children. And this is also related to the birth, of course, of Isaac. But I want to go back a little bit to the story itself. What does the prophet ask this woman, this widow? What do you have at home? And this is a very penetrating question, really. Forget about the answer that she gives. If they ask you, what do you have at home? Your children may be enslaved. Maybe they're being enslaved, not by a creditor who's going to come and fetch them and make them into real slaves. They're enslaved by certain ideologies that are rampant in the world today. They may be the slave of drugs, of many temptations that exist in this world. What do you have at home? Do you have books at home? Do you have Jewish culture at home? Do you listen to Jewish music at home? What is the content, the spiritual and moral content that you have in your home? Make sure that your home isn't empty, that all you have is one little jar. You have a little remnant of what a parent or a grandparent told you about Judaism, but you yourself have an empty home. Make sure that your home is filled with the right stuff. Creditors are going to come, are going to pounce upon you. It's not a question of the money that you borrowed. It's a question, as I say, of ideologies, of the latest fashions, the latest fads. Many of our children go to the Orient looking for some answers because they feel a spiritual void in themselves. Because our homes are empty of content. Make sure that there are books of Jewish interest. Make sure that there is Jewish music in your home. Make sure that the state of Israel and its fate is paramount in the conversation in your home. Make sure that your home is not empty, and you will see how no creditors are going to come to fetch your children. No new ideologies will fetch them, because they take advantage of empty homes, of homes where there is nothing. Make sure you fill it with the right stuff.